Hello everyone. Today we are going to do a presentation. In this presentation, we will talking about international business. Our group consists of Fakhrul Aimar, Rahman Dika A, Risdalia Putri, Wulan Nadila L, and me Revina Wibowo.
Introduction. What is international business? International business. The definition of international business as the opening case study on Google's case. International business relate to any situation where the production or distribution of goods or service cross country borders. Some managers consider the definition of international business to relate purely to business as the case in the Google case. International business encompasses a full range of cross-border exchange of goods, services, or resources between two or more nations. Strategy management and entrepreneurship and knowledge to both strategy management and entrepreneurship will enhance your understanding of international business because strategy management is concerned with organizational performance, be that social, environmental, or economic. Your understanding of a company as well that will help you better assess how international business factors should be accounted for in the firm strategy entrepreneurship. In contrast, is defined as the recognition of opportunity in the use of or creation or research to implement innovative ideas for new, truthfully planned ventures. Entrepreneurship, like strategic management, will help you to think about the opportunity available when you connect new ideas and new markets. For instance, given Google's current global presence, it's difficult to imagine that the company started out slightly more than a decade ago as the entrepreneurial venture of two college students and entrepreneur is start a business, while an entrepreneur is develop a new product or service in already existing business. Who is interested in international business? The stakeholder. As you know, international business refers to a broad set in entities and activities. International trade theories. International trade theories are simply different theories to explain international trade. Trade is the concept of exchange goods and services between two people or entities. International trade is then the concept of this exchange between people or entities in two different countries. What are the different international trade theory? In more recent centuries, economists have focused on trying to understand and explain this trade pattern. To better understand how modern global trade has evolved, it's important to understand how countries trade with one another historically. Over time, economists have developed theory to explain the mechanisms of global trade. By the mid-20th century, the theories began to shift to explain trade from a firm rather than a country perspective. Which is trade theory is dominant today, while they have helped economists, government, and business better understand international trade and how to promote, regulate, and manage it. These theories are occasionally contradicted by real-world events. Direct investment. Understand the type of international investment. There are two main categories of international investment: portfolio investment and foreign direct investment. Portfolio investment refers to the investment in a company's stock, bond, or asset, but not for the purpose of controlling or directing the firm operation or management. Typically, investors in this category are looking for a financial rate of return as well as diversifying investment risk to multiple markets. FDI refers to an investment in or the acquisition of foreign assets with the intent to control and manage them. Companies can make an FDI in several ways, include purchase the assets of a foreign company, investing in the company or in the property, plant or equipment, or participate in a joint venture with a foreign company, which is typically involved an investment or of capital or know-how. Chapter 3: Culture and Business. Culture in today's context is different from the traditional, more singular definition used particularly in Western language, where the word often implies refinement. What kind of culture are there? Nationalities. A national culture is, as it sounds, defined by its geographic and political boundaries and include even regional culture within a nation as well as among several neighboring countries. Subculture many groups are divided by ethnicity, gender, generation, religion, or other characteristics with culture that are unique to them. Organization. Every organization has its own workplace culture referred to as the organization culture. Next, the relationship between ethics and international business is extensive and is impacted by local perception, value, and belief. As with this chapter review of culture, this section on global business ethics, it's less about providing you with a thinkable list of do's and don'ts that it is about helping you understand the thinking and critical issues that global manager must deal with on an operational and strategy basis.
Okay, I will present next material. World economies. When global managers explore why to grow, they start by looking at the world, knowing the key markets and development stage. For each allow manager to determine the best way to enter and grow. The manager goal is to hone in on the new country, hopefully before the competitor and usually before the popular media does. Smart global manager recognize that to be effective in a country they need to know its recent political, economic, and social history. This helps them evaluate not only current business opportunities but also the risks of political, economic, and social change that many of affect their business. Next, okay. Next, global and regional economic cooperation and integration. International economic cooperation amongst nations. In the post-World War II environment, countries come to realize that a major component of achieving any level of global peace was global cooperation politically, economically, and socially. The intent was to level the trade playing field and reduce economic areas of disagreement since inequality in these areas could lead to more serious conflict. Regional economic integration. What is regional economic integration? Economic integration has enabled countries in focus on issues that are relevant to their stage of development as well as ensure trade between neighbors. There are four main types of regional economic integration. 1. Free trade area. This is the most basic form of economic cooperation. Member countries remove all barriers to trade between themselves but are free to independently determine trade policies with non-member nations. 2. Custom unions. This type of profits for economic cooperation is as in a free trade zone. Barriers to trade are removed between member countries. The primary difference from the free trade area is that members agree trade trade with non-member countries in a similar manner. 3. Economic union. This type is created when countries enter into an economic agreement to remove barriers to trade and adopt common economic policies. Next, international monetary system. What is the international monetary system? International monetary system refers to the system and rules that govern the use and exchange of money around the world and between countries. Each country has its own currency as money, and the international monetary system governs the rules for following and exchanging these currencies. What is the international monetary system? Discusses how during the 1930 the Great Depression resulted in failing economies. The fall of the gold standard led countries to raise trade barriers, devalue their currencies to compete against one another for export markets, and curtail usage of foreign exchange by their citizens. All these factors led to declining world trade, high unemployment, and plummeting living standards in many countries. In 1945, the Bretton Woods Agreement established a new international monetary system, the creation of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank were two of its most enduring legacies.
And then there is foreign exchange and the global capital markets. This chapter explores currencies, foreign exchange rates, and how they are determined. It also discusses the global capital markets, the key components, and how they impact global business. So, what is currency and foreign exchange? In short, currency is all forms of money circulating in general in a country, while foreign exchange is money in the currency of another country. Simply put, the exchange rate is defined as the rate at which the market converts one currency into another. For example, when we travel abroad, we experience currency markets. When we try to determine a hotel bill, or try to determine whether an item is cheaper in one country than in another. This rate includes two numbers, the bid and the offer. International business has four main uses for the foreign exchange market. namely, first, currency conversion, second, currency hedging, third, currency arbitrage, and last, currency speculation. And now, what is the international capital markets? The capital market is basically a system in which people, companies, and governments with access funds transfer these funds to people, companies, and governments who are underfunded. This transfer mechanism provides efficient way for those who wish to borrow or invest money to do. For example, whenever someone takes out a loan to buy a car or house, they access the capital market. There are two main ways people access the capital markets, either as debt or equity. Debt is money borrowed and must be repaid, and equity is money invested in return for a percentage ownership, but not guaranteed in terms of repayment. International capital markets provide the following benefits. First, higher returns and lower borrowing costs. Second, risk diversification. And next, international expansion and global market opportunity assessment. This chapter collects all the information about choosing to expand internationally and the possible ways to make the choice. Global strategic choice. Rationale for international expansion. Companies embark on an expansion strategy for one or more of the following reasons. First, to increase the cost effectiveness of their operation. Second, to expand into new markets for new customers. Third, to follow global customer. Planning for international expansion. When companies seek growth in a new area of the world, they usually prioritize which countries to enter. Understanding local consumer. Entering markets mean understanding local consumer and what they are looking for when making purchasing decision. A different analysis showed that 70% of the population lives in rural areas. How to learn new foreign markets needs. The best way for a company to learn about the needs of a new foreign market is to get people to immerse themselves in that market. Industry dynamics. In some cases, the decision to enter a new market will depend on the specific circumstances of the industry in which the company operates. And next, Chapter 9, Exporting, Importing, and Global Sourcing. Importing and exporting. Exporting is defined as the sale of products and services abroad that are sourced or manufactured in the country of origin. Importing is the opposite of exporting. Importing refers to buying goods and services from foreign sources and bringing them back to the home country. Exporting is an effective entry strategy for companies just starting to enter new foreign markets. This is a low-cost and low-risk option compared to other strategies. The same reason makes exporting a good strategy for small and medium-sized companies that cannot or will not make significant financial investment in international markets. Benefits of exporting. First, market. The company has access to new markets, which have brought in additional revenue. Second, money. Free trade not only earns more revenue, it also gains access to foreign currency, which benefits companies located in certain regions of the world, such as free trade home country of Egypt. Third, manufacture. The cost of producing a particular unit has decreased. A free trade has been able to produce at higher volumes and purchase higher volumes of source material. This benefit from volume discount. Risk of exporting. There are risks in relying on export option. If you only export to a country, the distributor or buyer may turn to or at least threaten to switch to a cheaper supplier to get a better price. Global sourcing and its role in business. Global sourcing refers to the purchase of raw materials, components, or services from companies outside the country of origin. In a flat world, raw materials are sourced from wherever they can be obtained at the lowest price, include transportation costs, and of the highest comparable quality. Managing export and import. The main parties employed in export and import transactions are exporters, importers, and carriers. Exporter in a person of entity that send or transport goods abroad. Importer is a person or entity that buys or transports goods from another country to the country of origin of the importer. A carrier is an entity that handles the physical transportation of goods.
Next slide, number 10, strategy and international business. Business and corporate strategy. What is strategy? Strategy is the central, integrated, externally oriented concept of how a firm will achieve its objective. Strategy formulation or simple strategizing in the process of deciding what to do. Strategy implementation is the process of formulating all the active necessary to do what has been planned. Generic strategy. Cost leadership strategy. Cost to pursue a cost leadership strategy means that the firm seeks to make its product or provide its service at lowest cost possible relative to its competitor while maintaining a quality that is acceptable to customer. Differentiation strategy. Differentiation stems from creating unique value to customer through advanced technology, high quality ingredient or component, product feature, superior delivery time, and the like. Next slide, number 11. Global entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. Entrepreneurship. There's a myth about entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are born, not made. The most prevalent myth about entrepreneurs is that they are born with the skill that will make them successful, and anyone who not born with the skill will do success. In reality, entrepreneur is a skill that, like any other skill, can be learned. Entrepreneurship and its root. The power and spirit entrepreneur, the entrepreneurship, are also fed in context of established business. In 1992, for instance, the American Heritage Dictionary brought entrepreneurship and the entrepreneur intro to mainstream by adding entrepreneur to its dictionary. Defining is a person with a like corporation who take direct responsibility for turning in idea into profitable business product through a serve risk taking and innovation. Difference between entrepreneur and intrapreneur. The primary difference between two types of innovation is their context. The entrepreneur acts within the confines of an expanded organization, most organization. Number 11. Winning through effective global talent management. The casing role of strategy human is management international business. Number 1. Crucial roles of SHRM in global firm. Comparison and reward. And last, diversity management. The global war of talent, tailoring recruitment to match company culture. Manager who is here for skill or academic background They ask about the potential impact philosophy on life or how the candidate like to spend free time. This question help the manager assume whether the cultural field is right. Organization labor and international business. Many labor markets around the world have organized labor and labor unions, just as United States do. Historically, most labor relations department with the centralized operation of the individual subsidiary level. And last, international staffing and placement. In in certain global economy, manager need the decide between using expertise or hiring local when staffing international location. An expatriate or expat is a person who is living in country other than his her home native country.
And next slide 13, harnessing the engine of global innovation. An introduction to research and development or R&D. R Research and development refers to two intertwined processes of research to identify new facts and ideas, and development, turning the ideas into tangible product and service. The reasons for this dispersion of research and development activities are to tap talent around the world, to lower costs, and to be better able to develop new product and service tailored to new country market. What is meant by product in this context is not always in the form of hardware, books, modules, learning aids in the classroom and laboratories, but can also be software, such as programs for data processing, classroom learning, libraries, or laboratories, or models, education model, training learning, guidance, evaluation, management. This research and development is referred to as an indicator of the progress of a country, namely the difference between developed countries and poor countries. Next slide is 14. Competing effectively through global marketing, distribution, and supply chain management. Effective way to compete. This point one. Number one, understand the 4Ps marketing. The 4Ps refer to product, price, promotion, and place. Point number two, the marketing mix and marketing segmentation, understanding your target customers, global market research, planning and brand strategy for emerging markets, product adaptation, introducing a company's product to a new international market. Supply chain management is the coordination of a host of activities that can give a company a distinct competitive advantage. Next, understanding the roles of finance and accounting in global competitive advantage. The purpose of accounting is to communicate of organizations' financial position to company managers, investors, banks, and the government. Accounting provides a system of rules and principles that prescribe the format and content of financial statements. Through this consistent reporting, a company's managers and investors can access the financial health of the firm. Firms based in the European Union follow standards adopted by the International Accounting Standards Board, known as International Financial Reporting Standards. Of over 100 nations have adopted or permit companies to use EFRAs to report their financial results. So many presentation of the materials that we have conveyed, and thank you for listening carefully. Hopefully it can add to your insight. If you have any question, you can ask them via Google Classroom. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.